Retro.
Hi, this is Emily Swallow, the Armorer in The Mandalorian. You're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. This is the way.
Welcome to Podcast Stardust. This is the fully armed and operational podcast dedicated to Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. I'm Dennis Keithley.
And I'm Jay Krebs.
And it's time to catch up on some Star Wars news. But before we dive into the latest from the galaxy far, far away, Jay, you want to remind everybody where we can be found on social media?
Absolutely. So heading into August now, and always, we can be found on Facebook and Instagram conveniently at Podcast Stardust.
All right, the gist of the line, the signal is boosted to maximum output, the shield is down, we are now broadcasting to the galaxy. Pulling back the curtain a bit, this is the first time, Jay, you and I have recorded in weeks, because you had some travel, I had some travel, and we recorded a bunch of stuff in advance. It was really weird at the beginning of this week. Like, I didn't have any episodes to edit. They were already done in the can. So, but no, it's good. It's good get back on the mic with you. Kind of missed our, weekly appointment to talk Star Wars the past few weeks. So,
oh, absolutely. I've been itching to talk to you as well. There's a lot of Star Wars to talk about. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we're not going to get to all of it this episode. We're going to get to some of the news now, and there's a few things that we're going to hold over to next week. But at any rate, let's start off with some overdue news, and that is that the Emmy nominations have come out, and Star Wars and some Lucasfilm properties have received some nominations. None more than Andor, which has 14 Emmy nominations. So I'll run through these real quick. It's been nominated for Outstanding Drama Series, Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Period of Fantasy Program. Let me re-say that. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Period or Fantasy Program, 1 hour or more, specifically for the Who Are You episode. Outstanding Cinematography for a series of 1 hour for the Harvest episode. Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes, also for Harvest. Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series for Who Are You? And that was directed by Janice Metz. Outstanding Picture Editing for a Drama Series, also for Who Are You? They really like that episode. Outstanding Music Composition for a Series for original dramatic score. Again, Who Are You? Brandon Roberts was the composer there. Outstanding Original Music and Lyrics for Andor, which was the Who Are You? The song title was We Are the Gore. Of all the music, that's the one that got. I guess that's the only one that really had lyrics. I guess, well, Neomos, but that's only got one word. But at any rate, that was for Nicholas Bertel. Also, Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series was for Forrest Whitaker, as in his role as Saw Gerrera in I Have Friends Everywhere.
Nice.
I really like this one. Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance goes to Alan Tudyk as K2SO and the Who Else Knows episode.
Well deserved.
Yeah. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series, 1 hour. Was also the Who Are You episode. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series. You guessed it. Who Are You? Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a Season or a Movie, Andor. That's for the entire season. And then Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series. That was Welcome to the Rebellion. So those are the 14 nominations that Andor picked up for the Emmys. What do you think about all that?
Oh my gosh, so well deserved. I mean, the outstanding fantasy and sci-fi costumes for Harvest, I mean, that is the wedding. So I can totally see that is absolutely incredible. And then Who Are You? And I Have Friends Everywhere are both the pivotal episodes with the Gorman massacre and the events directly thereafter. So I could see where both of those, once again, are definitely garnering a lot of attention, because as they should. My goodness, those were amazing storytelling, amazing world building, just as we've talked and gushed over Andor so much. I mean, there's just so much to love about all of those episodes, and those are definitely some standout ones. And as we just said, Alan Tudyk definitely deserving of the voiceover. So yeah, I mean, this is all good things, that's for sure.
Hmm. I haven't checked to see who they're up against for all these, and even if I knew, I couldn't tell you what the odds are that you'd win any of these because I just don't watch that many different series that's on television right now. I mean, I'm very much
Mhm.
into sci-fi stuff, but I was disappointed that Diego Luna didn't get nominated for lead actor. Genevieve O'Reilly did not get nominated. Stellan Skarsgård didn't get nominated for this, and I would have thought all three of those should have at least picked up a nomination on this one. Those are flat out snubs as far as I'm concerned. This show is great. The writing is great. The directing is great. Special effects are wonderful. Sound, all these things are fantastic, and all these are well deserved nominations. And I hope they all win. But this show isn't what it is without those performances from those three. I'm glad that Forrest Whitaker got nominated. He's certainly, he certainly deserves it. It's well deserved. And Alan Tudyk is, I mean, come on, Alan Tudyk. We love him, and he's done
Oh,
fantastic as
yeah.
K2SO. But again, those other three roles, I can't help but feel like those were severely overlooked.
No, I would totally agree with you on that one, and I'm scrolling through right now just to see, who was actually nominated for Best Actor, Supporting Actor, Actress, that type of thing, and there seems to be a lot of Severance, The Last of Us. I mean, Pedro Pascal is in there for The Last of Us. The White Lotus is mentioned quite a bit. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the acting was just top notch in that series, and of course, we're a little biased. However,
Sure,
as you said,
sure.
it wouldn't be what it is with these other nominations without the strength and support of the acting behind it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and you look, there's only so many nominations to go around. I get it, but I don't know. And it's like, I mean, I feel like anyone that was in this show could have been nominated. Besides those three, I'm just trying to think. Kyle Solar, I think, was especially deserving for his
Mhm.
role as Cyril Karn, and Dedra Miro, the actress, what's her name? Denise Gao. Denise Gao
Mhm.
should have been she was also deserving a nomination. Like I said, those are the shows that you mentioned. I've heard of them. I haven't seen any of them. So yes, I'm definitely biased, and I can't say that they're unworthy. But again, it just this is kind of been the epitome of Star Wars television, and I just kind of felt like some of those roles should have been a little bit more recognized. But
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you. I haven't seen a lot of those others myself either. I've heard some things, but
yeah.
I don't have any direct experience.
Well, other Lucasfilm projects that picked up some nominations. The Acolyte got a nomination for Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series of a Half Hour. And then Music by John Williams was nominated for 2 Emmys. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Nonfiction or Reality Program. Music by John Williams. Or, wow. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Nonfiction or Reality Program. And then it also got Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Nonfiction Program. So yeah, it could easily win those. I mean,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that was one of the most moving, outstanding documentaries I've ever seen. So, I mean, I would have
Agreed.
loved it just to see it get nominated for best, if there is such a category, best documentary, best nonfiction show, or whatever that category might be. So a little disappointed that didn't happen, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just glad that it picked up something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was such a gift. And
Yeah,
when we reviewed that, it was just such a wonderful thing to be able to have, witness to, I guess you could say. So again, very deserving.
that's true. Okay. So good luck to Lucasfilm and everyone that attached to Andor the Acolyte and Music by John Williams. I hope they sweep those categories. But we've got a lot of variety of news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. They did not, they being Lucasfilm, have a real large presence there. They kind of had an animation booth, which I know had a bunch of stuff from Dave Filoni's sketchbook, a recorded message from Dave Filoni that was there that I understand was pretty cool. They had some props that were there, but Lucasfilm was not there doing a panel. They weren't there presenting. However, at the booth, they're kind of their storytelling booth that they had there, we get our first look of Ezra Bridger from season 2 of Ahsoka. And I don't know about you, Jay, but wow, did they nail
Yeah.
this look here? That looks
Oh
like the
my
little
gosh.
kid we knew from Rebels all grown up in live action.
It truly does. I mean, if there was ever anyone that was the epitome of the animated actor in real life, it is definitely Esmond Afandi. This is
Yeah.
I saw this as soon as it popped up. I mean, just the smirk on his face. I mean, everything about it. It's just, yeah, absolutely perfect. Couldn't be better.
Right. You can go see this on StarWars.com if you want. And I may end up actually using this images for the show art for this episode. If you go over to Spotify or YouTube or something like that. But I also love the jacket.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is a classic Star Wars look. That looks like something Han might have worn, Luke might have worn. Um,
Mhm.
Really great work on the costume there. So I'm I'm excited to see that. I know they're still deep in production on everything that's going on with Ahsoka season 2, and then they also gave us what they're calling the first image of Maul from the Maul series, Shadow Lord series that's coming out. And I had to stop and think about that for a second. It's like, is this really the first image of Maul? Or am I just remembering leaked images that came out and confusing
Uh,
myself? But I mean, it looks like a stylized version of Maul from the Clone Wars that we've seen. So it looks great. But what do you think?
oh, yeah, it does indeed, and I'm very curious about the background that he is set in front of there. It looks like some sort of forge or something, so and the colorization and everything is perfect.
Right, right. So yeah, we're expecting that sometime in 2026, I guess. I'm not. They haven't told us exactly when that's coming out. Same with Ahsoka season 2, sometime next year, but we'll find out. I mean, I suspect they're going to space stuff out, so it won't be right up there against the Mandalorian Grogu in May.
Mhm.
But speaking of which, did you hear that Disney and Marvel have moved the Avengers Doomsday movie from that May time period all the way to December next year?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. No, I had not heard that.
it's like The Force Awakens
Yeah,
all over again for them.
yeah.
And I can't say that that's necessarily a bad move because we remember when Solo, a Star Wars story, came out, it got caught between um, what was it, The Last Jedi in December of
Mhm.
that year, and then was it Infinity War? Like, yeah, no, it was Endgame. I guess it would
Or
have come out,
Endgame, yeah,
yeah, in
mhm.
2019, and it kind of got cannibalized its
It
box
sure
office. Or at least
did.
that's the theory on it. So maybe not having two major studio projects come out that close together is probably a good idea.
Mhm. No, I agree, and then that way it can get a little bit more of the limelight.
Yeah. And then the follow-up Avengers movie was also postponed 7 months from that May to the following December. So
Oh boy.
yeah. But hey, you know what? I like Star Wars in December. I'll take it in May. That's fantastic. But hey, a good Marvel movie in December. I'm down for that too.
There you go.
All right. Well, turning to some book and comic news. This one is interesting. We have the announcement of a new Star Wars novel from Mike Chen, which just got me excited. This will be
Yeah.
a prequel to the Star Wars Outlaws video game, and it'll be called Low Red Moon. They didn't really have much else that was announced at their publishing panel at San Diego Comic Con that we hadn't already heard about before. So this is the story I'm choosing to highlight here. It's arriving February 3rd, and it tells the story of ND5, which is the commando droid that Company's Vest, the main character from Outlaws, and Jalen Vrax, who is the villain of Outlaws, as they embark on their descent into the galaxy's underworld. What do you think about this novel here?
I think it's a very interesting choice. First of all, as you said with Mike Chen, my ears perked up as well because we both love Mike Chen's work, singularly Brotherhood, for example. But it's an interesting choice to highlight this particular storyline because as we know, I mean, Outlaws, it hasn't done terribly as a video game, but it also hasn't done well either. I mean, especially if
Right.
you compare it to the likes of the Jedi series, Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor, and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting move, I think, on the part of Lucasfilm Publishing to go this route. So I'm very I'm very interested to see what this is, if nothing else, and maybe it'll garner some new interest in the video game, and maybe that's the point. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to read it for no other reason than Mike Chen's writing it.
Right.
Because, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, I love the Brotherhood book. His short story that he did about Palpatine's musings in the Force when he kind of sees Anakin's vision about, like, rebuilding his family with Padme and Luke and everything like that, that came up in the point of view, from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi. That was my favorite story from that collection. And I just think he's a really fantastic writer. And so I'm really excited to see what he'll do with anything in Star Wars. But I'm with you. This is an interesting choice that they're doing this, because there's a lot of conflicting news that's coming out about Star Wars Outlaws. And, you hit on it that it hasn't done as well as Ubisoft wanted when they released it. And there's news out there that's kind of floating around, but no official confirmation, that they had been working on a sequel, but they've canceled it due to the soft sales of the original. But on the heels of that, you just sent me a thing today where they were talking about porting it over to the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. I mean, I would guess if it was already underway before they made all these decisions, then why not go ahead and finish up the port over to the Switch and pick up some of those sales, because it's not like you're developing an entirely new game. But on the other hand, and I don't know the economics of making video games for multiple different consoles, so I take everything I say with a grain of salt. If it's not doing that well, it's not making that much money, why bother? Go to that extra expense. So this is just curious to me. I really want to see what ends up happening with Outlaws. At some point, I need to play the game again and get farther than I did. I only got through kind of some of the opening acts of the thing, and then just kind of got drawn away from it by other stuff. So, but I'd like to get into the story and see what else it has to offer. But again, as you and I both said, Mike Chen's writing it. I will definitely be reading it next February.
Yes, definitely. And, of course, this stuff doesn't just happen overnight either. So I'm assuming that this was part of the entire kind of game, if you will, of bringing Outlaws to everyone, is that, oh, yeah, okay, and we're going to have this prequel novel. So
Yeah.
I want to see if I can find some of the playthroughs. Like, I watched Jedi Fallen Order on YouTube just to watch
Mhm.
the playthroughs. So that way I understand it a little bit more, because I think it's a very interesting concept and a very interesting storyline. But being open world, there's probably a bazillion different ways I could watch it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect on that, because you can align yourself with different criminal factions and progress through the
Right.
game that way. So I don't know exactly everything that you can do there. The other thing that's kind of weird is that you're talking about all the tie-in stuff that happens with the video games, and I'm thinking of the Jedi series. You had Jedi Fallen Order and the Jedi Survivor. Well, prior to Fallen Order, they had a tie-in comic series that took place at like 10 years before that. Well, before the fall of the Republic and the Order 66, that told a story. And then between Fallen Order and Survivor, they had the Battle Scars
Hmm.
novel that they
Right.
did. That was because it was like 5 years or something like that between those two games or something. I can't remember exactly. They told a story here, so they did everything chronologically, and now that's not what they're doing here. I mean, they had the game out, and it came out last summer, so the game's already been out for a year, and by the time this novel comes around, it'll have been a year and a half before they're getting ready to tell the prequel story. So, hey, look, if it's a good story, then fantastic, and I trust it will be, again, because Mike's writing it.
Right.
But again, it's just the timing of all this strikes me as odd.
Hmm. No, I'm with you.
Okay. Well, the other big happening at San Diego Comic-Con, as far as Lucas film and Lucas project goes, is that George Lucas made his debut at San Diego Comic-Con, and he showed up to promote the Museum of Narrative Art that he is opening. We kind of discussed how he's going to make this appearance in our last news episode, which came back in episode 914. So it's been a little while since we did one of those. But he was on a panel with Queen Latifah, who was a moderator, who was apparently a good friend of his wife, Melanie Dobbs.
Oh,
And then,
really?
yeah, Doug Chang, who we all know is a great designer for Star Wars, was on the panel as well. And Guillermo del Toro was there. Some of the highlights of this panel was the reveal that 40,000 items from George Lucas's collection will be on display in this museum. Some featured Star Wars items include Luke's Landspeeder from A New Hope, a 1-to-1 replica of General Grievous's TSME U6 wheel bike from Revenge of the Sith,
Wow.
a full-scale version of Anakin's N1 starfighter from The Phantom Menace,
Oof.
speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi, and concept art from the first 6 Skywalker Saga movies. Some other items of note from George Lucas's collection includes a first drawing of Flash Gordon from 1934, original art for Marvel's Iron Man debut comic from 1968, illustrations from Peanuts creator Charles M. Schulz, and paintings and art from the likes of Norman Rockwell, Jack Kirby, who, if you like the Fantastic Four, is responsible for them, and Frida Kahlo. So this sounds epic. I don't know when exactly I'm going to get a chance to check this museum out. Maybe Celebration 2027, since we'll be in LA anyway. But this has really got my attention.
Oh yeah, I think we need to put this on our to-do list, Dennis. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we need to experience this one together. But yeah, I mean, we knew that this was going to be a pretty epic type of a display slash exhibit experience, but to hear all of these things and just the fact that there's 40,000 items,
Mhm.
40,000, that's a lot. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that a lot of these are actual full scale versions and 1-to-1 replicas. How cool is that? I mean, to be able to get up close and personal to those types of things. And then, I'm always about the history of where a lot of our pop culture things come from. So, as you ran down with the Flash Gordon and the Iron Man comic, I mean, that is so awesome.
Yeah. One of the things I loved was the quote that came out of this, where he was talking about how he accumulated all this stuff. And basically, it's that he loves buying art and he hates selling it. And so he says, he told the audience, I refuse to sell it. I'm not the one of the typical high art collectors that buys and sell it off. I could never do that. It's not what I think art is. So he's not speculating in art for its value. He collected it because he loved it. And
Right.
that's totally the George Lucas we know. I mean, he made a ton
Oh,
of
yeah.
money. He sold Lucasfilm to Disney for, what was it, $4 billion some odd dollars. A lot of it has gone into this museum and other charities. He's still rich, but he's comfortable, and there wasn't a need for him to keep all that stuff. And so he's found a good home for this art, as opposed to letting it go to private collections. He's putting it someplace that everyone can come see it. And I find that very admirable, and I really love that he's done that.
Oh, yeah. It's a way to give back to the masses, truly. And it also shows how much he's just really just one of us. He's just this nerd that likes to collect things. And how many of us still have our Star Wars collections from when we were kids? If not Star Wars, then something else, and a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff I know got given away or sold at garage sales or whatever as we got older. But I know for myself personally, I still have tons of stuff that, once again, it was things that spoke to me that I collected and I have. And maybe I should start my own museum of of art and share it. Who knows? Not that I have as much as George Lucas, obviously, but
Yeah.
I might have some C-3PO soap down there somewhere, though.
Yeah. Well, you can build yourself a little space age building up in Ohio and
Yeah,
put
there you
all
go.
your entire collection in there. So
Heck
I'm just
yeah.
hoping that Rancho Obi-Wan and those other collectors that are going to consolidate their collections to some sort of museum. It'd be cool if they could do it somewhere near this. Because could
Mhm.
you imagine like making a trip out of that? Going to LA, and amongst the things you're doing, one day at the Museum of Narrative Art, and then another day. I can't remember what they're calling this museum that they're going to make. Oh, it's Rancho Obi-Wan. But doing that, I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be an awesome trip to go see all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
It'd be an awesome road trip.
all right. All right, last story we've got is the next HASLAB project, which will be the LLAAT gunship. If you're familiar with the HASLAB projects, these are very large scale vehicles usually that they produce only if they get enough backers. Very expensive. This is going to be a $450 model. I guess I should just give you some examples. Some of the prior things they've done was Jabba's Sails Barge. They've done the Ghost. What are the things that they did? They tried to do the Rancor, but that one failed.
Mhm.
The Mos Eisley Cantina.
The
But anyway,
Razor Crest.
Yeah, that's right. The Razor Crest right before it was blown up.
Rip.
I know a lot of people that were not happy about that, but
Yeah.
all right. Hey, looks like we're going to do one in the Mandalorian Grogu, so we'll see.
There you go.
But this one has already begun. It started. It started picking up backers. It needs 8,000 by the time it closes on September 8th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. I just pulled up the website to see how many backers they've got right at the moment. So bear with me a second. And they have 2,681 backers. So they're more of a quarter of the way there. And I'm sure as this one gets closer, I can't imagine this won't pick up the 8,000, but we'll see. Typically, these things pick up a lot there in the last week or so. But dimensions, it's 28 inches long, it's 30.9 inches wide, and 10.6 inches tall without the stand that it comes with. It's got 2 clone pilots that come with it. It's got alternate panels for the front, including a Crumb bomber, and then one that looks a bit like a stylized Kit Fisto. I'm not even sure exactly how to describe this, but it kind of looks like he's on a bullet or something.
Uh-huh.
And then it's got removable missiles, mobile laser pods, and there's a number of stretch goals that come with this. If it reaches 10,000 backers, there'll be a Jedi Master Colvin Trevor exclusive carded figure. At 12,000 backers, there's a Sassy Teen exclusive carded figure. And at 14,000 backers, Agent Kohler. So, yeah, I know those are very popular. That's one of the reasons like a lot of people hesitate to back because they want to see how close it's going to get to those stretch goals there before they decide. Because that's the thing. It's like these are exclusive. This is how you get it, or you hope that someone buys this thing and puts the figures up on eBay or something. But
Right.
at any rate, I won't be backing it. I haven't backed any of these projects, but I am always fascinated by them and very, very curious. I root for them. I don't have space in my house for this type of thing. I don't collect that type of vehicle. I don't collect those type of action figures, but I love that they do this type of thing and they make this stuff available and they put it out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like this one is going to blow past all of the tiers that it needs and get all the backers because I don't know. I feel like the LAAT gunship has always been one of those that is super popular. It's so recognizable and it's so playable. You know what I mean? It's one of those
Right.
things that, yeah, some of the other things are great to sit on a shelf or display, but I feel like this one is one that, you can pretend like you're Luke Skywalker and sitting in your little hovel and playing with your gunship kind of thing.
Right. It's fun if you scroll through the webpage on this, and I'll try to remember to put a link in this. I've not been good about that lately when I've said I'd put a link in the show notes, but they have if you scroll down like halfway through the page for this, they have a image of the 2013 Republic gunship toy that came out and posed over it to show you how much bigger this version is. It's over 20%
Mhm.
bigger. And I mean, it's really good looking on there. I could see how this would be a centerpiece for your collection if you wanted to, set up, Anakin and Ahsoka in this thing with a bunch of clones. You could make that look really fantastic here. And I just really love that they give you the opportunity to customize it with so many different options. We talked about the panels, but then you can take the missiles out and arrange them differently if you want. This comes with a stand that you can set it up on if you want to do it that way. So many things you can do with this. So yeah, I hope it gets funded, and I agree with you. I think it probably will, and it'll be fun to follow that over the next few weeks as we go through August.
Yeah, I agree. And I always love to see the art that goes on the panels on the sides. No
Yeah.
Padme pinup this time.
Yeah,
Anakin will be very happy about that.
I'm willing to bet that someone out there will make that though.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah, and some
Or
of
a
the Twi'lek.
Twi'lek or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, you read my mind. Okay. We are of similar minds on that one. Okay.
Always, always.
Yeah. So we'll do some updates on that over the next few weeks to track the funding on that because I'm really curious to see because I've had a lot of fun going and watching like the YouTube videos where people will customize like the Razor Crest, they'll weather
Oh,
it and
yeah.
do all those things with it. So I haven't seen any for the Ghost yet, but I'm eager to check that out as well. So
For sure.
Okay, well, that is this week's Star Wars news on Podcast Stardust. Thank you all so much for joining us. Jay, this was fun. I'm glad we got to get on the mics again. It's been too long, but
Oh,
we
for
had things to
sure.
do this summer. So we hope everyone enjoyed our discussion of the weekly news. And if you did and you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. And once you've done that, we'd greatly appreciate your likes, ratings, reviews, and the such. That helps others find the show. And if you want to find the entire back catalog of shows, one of the best places you can do that is over at retrozap.com. All previous 919 episodes are there. Jay, I want to remind everybody what those social media contacts are one more time and where else we are located on the internet.
Absolutely. We are very easily and conveniently found on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust. And if that's not enough for you, we also have a ton of Pinterest boards and our 2 YouTube outlets where you can listen to all of our episodes. And you can do that on YouTube and YouTube Music. And they also support subscriptions and interactions. And we would love it if you would share those out with your friends. And another thing that you can do is support us over on TeePublic by snagging yourself some new Podcast Stardust swag or adding to your current collection. And we'd love to see if you do pick up anything. So if you grab a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a coffee mug, a tote bag, or anything else from the site, please snap a picture and tag us on social media. So the link to that TeePublic store is in our show notes.
Okay, Jay, what's going on in cosplay?
Right now, pretty quiet because, as you mentioned, we've been doing some traveling and doing some other things this summer. But you can always check out my work on my Instagram at j.snipscosplay. And as we're approaching into August here and eventually into September, I do have a couple of appearances that I will be doing. So I will definitely be updating everybody when that time definitely comes around. So you can catch me as Ahsoka, 2 different versions of Hera, the Fourth Sister, as well as my original concept Mandalorian, and much, much more. So once again, that's at j.snipscosplay.
All right, upcoming on the show on Monday, we were talking the Clone Wars with a look at episode 14 of season 2, the Duchess of Mandalore. And then on Wednesday, we are getting into one of the last of the High Republic novels with a look at Claudia Gray's Into the Light. So make sure you join us for that. So with that said, thanks for listening to episode 920 of Podcast Stardust, everyone. Have a great weekend. And until next time, may the Force be